Joining us this evening, the outgoing chairman of the National Minorities Commission, Wajahat, Habibullah. Mr. Habibullah, thanks so much for joining us live here on Newsnight this evening. My first question to you is, you say that the government had collapsed in 1984 and the violence was a massive failure on the part of the Congress government. But you've dismissed allegations that the then Congress government colluded in the violence. Now, according to eyewitnesses, there were several goons, many of them from the Congress party, who were charged by Congress leaders such as Sajjan Kumar, Jagdish Tytler, H.K.L. Bhagat, Dharamdas Shastri. Yet, how can you say that the government did not collude with these men, or rather the Congress party was not involved?
No, I did, to the interview, I had tried to explain that, these incidents of this nature, whether they are in Delhi in 1984, whether they're in Muzaffarnagar now, whether they were in Meerut in 1987, whether they were in Gujarat in 2002, they all symbolize a massive failure of governance. After all, what is governance? Governance means providing life and liberty, securing life and liberty for every citizen. Where it fails, that is a failure of governance. That is what I meant when I mentioned this, and the fact is so, that in such matters, these things would not happen. Such prolonged violence could not happen unless there has been collusion of people in authority at that time. And you will find this repeatedly. And I've been told, you can, if you consult with senior police officers, and mentioned that also in my interview, if you consult with any senior police officer, they will tell you that the laws are enough to handle these situations. Unfortunately, if you do not apply the law, either you are negligent or you collude. These things happen. And therefore, I don't think that you can say I didn't say that it was a failure of the Congress government as such. It was not pointed in that direction. It was a failure of governance. All these cases, in my view, are failures of governance.
So you don't deny that there was collusion at some level?
Of course, and I think that I don't have to say that. The point that I was trying to make is the Prime Minister's office at that time was not really in touch. I was there in the Prime Minister's office. The Prime Minister's office was, for the first day, as you probably know, Raji was away in Bengal when this happened. He was suddenly called back. He came back. That same night he became Prime Minister, but he attended the office only the next day, the next evening we met him. So he really had not become an effective Prime Minister for the first 2 days. Then the killing started on early in the morning of the 1st of November. The assassination took place on the 31st. Early in the morning of the 1st November, the killings took place, and the army was called in. Initially, the army was not able to really enforce its authority for the first 2 days, but the army was called in within 2 days. So that part of the work was done, but unfortunately, it was not effective. And the reports and the fact there were so many commissions that went into this. Marwa Commission went into this, then it was upgraded to the level of the Justice Ranganath Mishra. The number of committees went into this. They did find that there were certain leaders of the political parties who on the very night of the assassination had gone about instigating people. As a standard practice, I've dealt with so many of these situations all over the country, which have been happening from time to time, both at the time that I was in the Prime Minister's office and subsequently and most recently as Chairman of the National Commission of Minorities. It is common that these lists are drawn up of the target community. Those are circulated to certain goons who go and attack those homes. This happened in 1984. This is recorded. It happened in 2002. It happened in Meerut in 1987. The police in that time actually murdered 40 people themselves.